Hey, all right. Connecting to chat. Welcome in everybody to the Halo Dickheads podcast. It's your boy Blake, the Straight Fear, with Reaching Eights. We got a fun show for you today. It's been a while since we've done an episode, but now that my dumbass has a set schedule for both of my jobs and I can make a dedicated free time slot most likely each week, I am going to be here for you guys again. And I hope you'll be here for us too. So today, we got quite a few things that we're going to talk about, but as per usual, we can go into the standard, just general Halo Sphere news cycle of what's happened since we've been live last, which has been quite a fucking bit, unfortunately, since we've been off for about, 1 or 2 months now, maybe a whole month and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
No. Well, in good news, our buddy Jervalen has achieved immortality status in the Halo community by achieving the world's first non-envy every other skull enabled. The original name I think was Lasso Every Skull But One achievement, the LESBO achievement. And yeah, he was able to do it within a few weeks of it being issued by Moist Critical. And since then, it's been non-stop grinding for the guy. He has not stopped going for more world first achievements. For those of you that haven't looked into his stuff before, he specializes in lasso deathless challenges, lasso no shot deathless challenges, and this is with the classic lasso. So if you're on the original hardware for Halo 2, not the Halo MCC playlist version of lasso, but the original one, he does both categories. Very fun to watch. But beyond that, we've had this is something I want to get your opinion on too, man. Is we've had a lot of testing for new partnered HCS teams. Now,
Thanks. Oh, we actually need to talk about this. This will be funny.
this is big. This is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so. Hey, what's up, DJ Gary? I see you in there, brother. One of the biggest issues that I have, and this is going to be the one thing I got to get off, and then I'd love for you to give your inputs on your thoughts, but the only thing I want to talk about personally is just how weird and arbitrary it almost is how they're selecting these teams. From my perspective, when I was in competition, like heavily, like really grinding for placement back in the day, you had to place in events in order to get considered for MLG partnership. And it was very, very few people that even got to get those partnerships. One, because of the monetary supply, I'm sure, but two, because the contract work for these things back then was not it wasn't that good. It wasn't well written. But the biggest thing is, one of my favorite orgs is Status Quo. And the reason is because I've known that team. I've seen Flamesword. I know he's an OG MLG competitor. And I watched them live in fucking San Diego in 2008, crush the fucking brackets and get mad pro points. It's up Sharticles, but more than just because they're OG, they have a player on their roster that actually has a free-for-all championship for the most recent event under their belt. Yet other orgs that don't have championships for any categories are getting placement into HCS over that. Now, I get it that it's not fours, but Halo originally was the first ever Halo championship was a free-for-all on G4 TV, right? Even though there was like shields disabled and health and all these weird other augmentations, Halo's always been known as a free-for-all competitive game. That 1v1s, 2v2s. Ogre 2, I don't think would be cemented as the VIP, or not the VIP, but the MVP of Halo itself without his 2v2 brackets being into consideration. So I sense like there's too much favoritism towards fours in the competitive scene of Halo, and that's going to not like, fucking cripple them economically, but it's definitely going to limit their expansionism and their capabilities to really drive talent into high positions. Because like back in the day, if you want a free-for-all bracket, you were going to be pretty much drafted onto a top 4 team, like guaranteed at some point. Like look at Strong Side, fucking Karma, Like, list goes on. But I just want to get that off my chest while we're on this topic. If you got some heat you want to throw, feel free.
Sure, yeah. So one of the teams that was partnered to HCS, I can't remember which one it is now because it was so long ago. I'm sure someone will mention it or pull it up, whatever. You can Google it. One of the HCS teams, I don't think had a name, and they didn't even have a complete roster. That ended up being partnered before other teams.
How
And you
does
look
that
at,
happen?
you look at Gamers First or something like that, who just slayed like every partner team and got what, like second or third,
And then they
right?
get
Like
nothing.
what? Yeah, like what the fuck's going on? Why aren't they partnered now? Like
It's yeah.
I don't understand it. Well, I mean, I do understand it. It's obviously just like a money under the table thing, but the Microsoft block should have learned their lesson from Overwatch League, which Blizzard was doing independent of Microsoft before this merger happened, where they were trying to have it so it was like a franchise sports model where investment groups would just pay for a team. They would have like a spot in this league that would be like persistent. You wouldn't get knocked out. It was like the NFL, and it was a fucking disaster. Nobody watches Overwatch League.
Yeah.
They had a lot of issues, and one of the issues was like the players had like no personality. But the other issue was that
Oh,
there was no punishment for failure.
true.
So yeah, so the issue with like having these players being forced onto like set teams and the fact that it was a franchise sports model fucked them over. So doing the same thing again, but making it even shadier with a less popular game, like how is that going to work out? They need to, take their looks for this. It's really, really embarrassing. And what you were saying about Halo being, it has all the different modes. That's very true. Halo was always seen as like, Doom or Quake, or it's like a classic shooter, right? Where it's like, yeah, there's really good like dual players, there's really good FFA players, there's really good teams players. You'll have these like players that have like a huge legacy of doing like CTF and doubles and whatever they're doing with dual or FFA. That's how it ended up with Halo as well, right? Like think about Karma, where he was tearing it up in FFA, but
Yeah.
he was also on Carbon or
Hmm.
whatever, depending on the era. So yeah, they shouldn't forget about that kind of stuff. I think that there's this perception that fours is like more marketable.
Right.
To a degree, that's true, but it frustrates me a lot when you look at these like peripheral manufacturers or these ads, but like this is like the most skilled shit ever. It's like, okay, what's more skilled than just beating somebody one on one though?
Yeah.
Like why is fucking Shroud on the mouse instead of fucking Rafa or Cooler or somebody? With the Halo players though, it's like, I'd much rather buy a controller that was like made by or in collaboration with like Karma,
Hmm.
than that is got like Cloud9 branding on it or some shit,
Yeah.
right?
There's
So
there's merit to fours and twos. Um,
I'm a teams player. If
yeah.
anyone's played me in FFA or whatever before, I'm not very good at it. It doesn't change the fact, like it doesn't change what the truth is,
Hmm.
though. You know what I mean?
There's something so juicy about like for instance like neighbor, like this is in a fours environment too. Think about this.
Yep.
There was a play that neighbor made way back in the day when he, and this is why I think he was the greatest player from '08. um, Fucking the chat says Goatman initial D controller. It's got fucking drift built into it. I get
Yeah.
you. I see what you did there. Jesus Christ. Chat's wilding today. Fuck. What was I on about? God damn it.
Neighbor being the best player in
Oh
the
yeah.
league.
So he jumps off a top man on Guardian. It's ball. There's like fucking 3 seconds left in regulation time or some shit available, and he backsmacks some dude that's on the little stick that's hanging off the wall at the bottom lift of green right there. You can like wedge yourself right there. He backsmacks that guy, grabs the fucking ball, takes the lift over while strong siding with the fucking thing so he can't get domed in the back of the head by a team shot. And then he gets up on the lift, like on the lip of where camo would be, jumps off the fucking map with ball in hand so that like he cannot get grenaded out, and secures like the last 2 possible fucking seconds to get him to the time mark and into the fucking win mark. It was right before death timer too when he
Yeah.
fell. It was the most calculated individual play that like potentially like there's cool ways of like watching somebody like a team just absolutely slay out. Like I saw a clip from Kadaddle today that was really dope. Him and his team fucking 3-0'd somebody on pit in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. It was really, really beautiful. Spawn control, team awareness, communication. That was fun. That was cool to watch, but damn it, I jumped out of my fucking seat when I watched Neighbor do that play, though. Like, both
Yeah,
are
for sure.
good, but
Yeah,
damn.
yeah, yeah. It's not that necessarily like one style of play is more valid than the other. Perhaps I worded that poorly. Like I like objective a lot. I'm like obsessed with like Oddball and King of the Hill and shit like that as well. Um,
I no, I'm agreeing
you
that
know,
individual
yeah,
plays are the best
yeah,
though.
yeah. But like individual plays are really good.
Hmm.
They're a super good way of like evaluating like an individual player's skill. And the best way to do that would put them in an individual competition, right? With like an FFA
The
or
MLG
1v1.
top 10
And
clip
yeah,
off.
and the,
It's
the
another
best way
way.
that the way that MLG used to do that, right? With the FFAs leading into 1v1s, I think was really good.
Yeah,
I would like that to come back in a big way. I just think it's really annoying when it's like the branding and shit. I guess it was try hardy back in the day too, like fucking final boss standing in the alleyway, whatever. But like
that was the early 2000s though,
yeah,
man. Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
for
a
sure.
skater
Yeah.
thing, you know.
For sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, I was gonna say it's still it's too try hardy now, but it's always been super try hardy. But it's the same degree of try hardy, but also like overproduced and corporatized. And they're like, oh, it's like the most skilled shit ever. It's like, what's really skilled about not getting relegated and only playing like fours? Like, I'm not super, but also your forest has like tons of resets and shit too. So it's not even like old oddball, which is like a fucking bloodbath.
Mm.
It's like this new oddball that's like Overwatch,
Well, it's
you
because
know?
they want it to be they want it to be for the goddamn viewers now. They don't even care about the competitive nature of the game itself. It's
Yeah, yeah,
like
but there's
it's a
not
viewer
like
sport.
an excessive number of resets in like football or soccer,
Hmm.
right? Like American football, there's tons of resets, but I mean like European football, like the most popular sport, doesn't have a lot of resets.
Yeah, they
You
had to
got
dumb
like
it down. Chat says, yeah.
yeah, you've got like halftime. If people kick the ball out, that's not really a reset. Like they kick the ball out, so the other team gets possession, pretty
Mm.
much.
Just like
Like
basketball.
yeah, which you already had with oddball, right?
Yeah,
Like you
you
throw the
play
ball
it.
off the map,
Yeah,
you're gonna get a reset,
yeah.
right? Or like the hill moves and on construct or something like that, you get a reset in that way. But it's like it doesn't screw up the flow of the play.
Mm.
The reset obsession is like really fucked up. I've been frustrated about that since I don't know if people know this, but I don't know if we talked about this before, but there was that I can't remember if it was Spike or whatever, CGL, CGS.
Mm.
They did that. I don't know if you remember this. This is like deep lore shit. It's very hard to find because it disappeared one night.
Oh
But
shit.
CGS, competitive gaming series, something like that. It was like a franchise sports model. Complexity was involved with it. It was like a Counter-Strike series that happened in the United States, and it's largely responsible for like forcing the last vestiges of the Chargers mode out of Counter-Strike. And Chargers is where you had like a certain amount of time and you'd only score as terrorists.
Hmm.
You wouldn't score as counter-terrorists. But it got switched to what's called max rounds, where you have to hit a round total before your opponent, and that's what largely like, it's just been resets in every fucking objective mode ever since max rounds became like the only way to play Counter Strike.
Wow.
And that's what that I'm trying to explain this like very quickly because I'm sure a lot of people don't care. But if you look into it, there weren't a lot of resets in games.
Yeah.
And then in the mid 2000s, suddenly there were shitloads of fucking resets because people were getting upset about losing, and that's what's led to where we are now. Because before that, it was like
You get
you basically
steamrolled
just
if
get
you were fucking if you
yeah,
lost, you lost. Like
yeah
that was
in
that
like
was the cutting
C
edge
or
of
yeah,
like of how. Hey, what's up, Nexian? What's up? What's up? I see you there. But yeah, that
in like
was
C or Quake 1 or 2 or whatever, you just get your fucking face stomped on until. But if your opponent started playing 1% worse and you started playing 1% better, you would just start smashing them like immediately. Like the power would just transfer instantly because your ability to fuck people up was much higher.
mm,
But yeah, the resets have been something that's pissed me off since I was like 8, I think, when I saw the resets starting to come in. So yeah, that's something that's very frustrating to me. Maybe that's why I don't like fours and stuff that much anymore. Maybe I have a grudge. But yeah, I agree with you that the HCS shit is completely fucked. Hopefully they partner G1, I guess, or Gamers First, whatever they're called,
mm.
with Mikowski. I think he's like the manager or something for that team.
I'm not. I haven't really.
D-
To be honest,
Okay.
I've fallen off really hard with HCS ever since like, you, fuck man, just like watching the gameplay itself is just so boring to me, man. Like it's hard for me to watch these. Like I'll look and watch
Well,
on
they
for a
have like
final game.
desync and shit in their
Yeah,
online games,
yeah, and it's
like
just
in their
the
tournament
theater
games.
playback and like the observer playback. It just looks so bad.
Yeah, it's like a very sedate sort of game. Like they've tried to speed up the game, but instead they've like just completely slowed it down, and essentially at this point is just like shoot people 4 times
Yeah,
and
it's
hope that your shots connect.
there's
Like it's
no
not
yeah,
really.
there's no sniper like skill anymore that you can like you got like snipe downs out there,
Well,
people out there like
it's not so much to the point where there's like no skill involved or whatever. I remember I watched that um FFA that you did at that Fire Up Land Center,
hmm,
and that looked good. Like there's still good players. There still is like skill expression. It's
yeah.
still a shooter game. It's much less than Halo 2 or even Halo 3,
Hmm.
I think, at this point. So,
It's it's just so I don't know, it just feels bland to me. It's like if you take out all the things that made Halo like have a skill gap, you'd be washed with Halo Infinite. Like I feel as like that's what's left over.
yeah, we'll get to this point later too, because I do want to talk about like LAN centers and internet connection and things like that with a couple other topics. But I do find it really funny that like this HCS event that's just happened, like it sounds like it was a LAN. It wasn't a LAN. Everyone just flew to different data centers or sorry, different like LAN centers, like facilities
Yeah.
in like Texas to play an online event. So that's
There's
why it feels like it
they
was like
can't
a LAN
they
just
can't sit
happened. Yeah.
across from each other, God forbid. They gotta add fucking 10-20 ping, do it in different
Well,
warehouses
I don't know why it was done like that. Like if every,
because of COVID regulations.
okay,
Get sick. You'll
reasonably
get sick and die. You fucking get it.
reasonably speaking, like if every team is going to try to get whatever advantage they can have, right? So if you're like a $1 million or $1 billion organization, obviously you're going to be able to afford some time at an internet cafe or to have like some kind of a training facility somewhere, some PCs that are hooked into some shit near Dallas, right? And you're all going to fly your players there. So like why wouldn't we just do this on LAN where, everyone's pinging like between 5 and 10 at most?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand it. Everyone's already in the same city.
Like CDL does it right, man. They're on a fucking stage on one network. They're probably on the same fucking switch, honestly. Like they're sitting there on the stage, like fucking maybe 20 feet between the teams, live in front of the whole fucking crowd, right? And look, they
Yes.
got Crim 6 coming out fucking in the shadows and shit, looking like a goddamn Undertaker, you know?
Yeah.
And then what does HCS have?
CDL,
Like
yeah.
I watched more of the Big Team Battle Bonanza than I did the fucking brackets. Why? Because it was actually fucking entertaining. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like I think the casual ass Big Team Battle. Hear me out when I say this. In HCS, the casual Big Team Battle WWF inspired mock up tournament was better than the actual tournament itself. I had fucking a great time watching that. Like I thought it was quirky. I thought it was funny. I thought like they brought out Ogre 2 in a respectful Stone Cold Steve Austin way. Like I thought that was cool. And then like you watch HCS though, and they're just like fucking like shut the fuck up over there, lethal. Like fucking pay this fine, bitch. Like dude, like
Yeah.
oh man, it's so bad.
Well, yeah, you have good players getting like barred from that BTB Invitational even due to politics shit, right?
Oh yeah. See, that's what I like
So,
about COD is like you can like Crim 6, he wins, he stands up, he puts a big old fucking middle finger to the other team, and then you go up, you shake hands, and you're good. It's like you're in that moment, and then you
yeah.
just move on. It's like hockey, like you get your fight, and then you fucking
Yeah.
right back to the sport. God forbid, like a war simulator might trigger that. Who thought?
Well,
but
for
now,
sure. Yeah,
but
yeah.
now we're trying to
That-
soften
yeah.
everything and make everything look all soft.
Well, that's what makes
Got to be gentle.
the stuff interesting. I was listening to this podcast the other day where they were talking about I don't know if you know about James Harding,
Hmm.
Too Good, who used to
No.
run like Good Studio. He was like a commentator for a bunch of different games.
Hmm.
Um,
Cool.
he is the guy who hired like Semler, who was
Wait,
a
how
Counter-Strike
old is that?
commentator.
How old is that guy?
Too Good. He's
No,
got to
no,
be like
no.
35,
The
36.
Harding guy. What's his?
James Harding.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in his 30s,
he's his
like maybe
30s.
35 to 38, something like that.
Huh. It's
He's
weird. My father's maiden's name's last name is Harding.
okay.
So I don't know. Might be a genetic
Okay.
thing. I'll have to look into that.
But yeah, he used to be like a Quake player, but he became like a StarCraft commentator and a bunch of stuff.
Huh.
And I was listening to this podcast where these guys were talking about how his cast with like In Control at this one DreamHack was like pushing the edge of like what was acceptable. All that they were doing, like at one point James said that like his mom was fat or something, and they made like some kind of
Your
joke
mom is
about
so
like
fat that she stepped on
browsing
a dollar
internet
and four
porn or
quarters came
something.
out kind of shit.
Yeah, and then James was like offered up as like a human sacrifice to Perfect World when he made fun of their event that he was hosting for Valve. Like and now everyone's like, "Yeah, well, he kind of was pushing it." It's like, "No, the reason why you're saying this is to fucking save your own job because you've seen what happened to him when he was like a normal person with fucking integrity, right?"
Oh my
So
god.
like the only reason why the Overton window gets crushed is because like it's like the philosophy of like a gunfight, right? Where you shoot one guy and then everyone else starts to get like scared. They're like trying to help their friend. They're not really shooting back at you.
Hmm.
It's the it's the same thing is happening, right? Where these companies, these bad actors and stuff, they like make an example of one person, and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, well, it was funny back then, but I'm not going to do that anymore." And they just fucking the Overton window slowly
Yeah, it's
crushes down.
there's they're trying to edge out. Like I don't get it. Like they're trying. I don't get the like. Oh, man, there's a reason why Americans like historically have really hardcore sports records.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with our intensity with our sports and our embrace, I guess, of testosterone within
Yes.
sports, like especially when it comes to like our media and our things like that. But I I think that is directly under attack by, um, I don't want to say the East in particular because the West does this as well, but like there is a miasma about that is very, um, how do I say, they're very soft about competition. Like you're not even allowed to pop off and like yell at events and things like that.
Yeah.
It's very very weird.
Yeah,
Um,
there's I don't know if it's because like people maybe aren't in spaces where people have like healthy masculine role models or anything anymore. But there's also a lot of shit where there's like just rampant spurgery at events as well
oh God,
that
yeah,
that needs to be addressed in some way,
yeah,
but like it can't because there's not like a one size fits all thing. Like people need to have some sort of level of like social skills. I think that would probably solve a lot of the problems in video games and stuff right now. I'm not saying that like, I'm some kind of like master socializer or whatever, but it's like I went to LANs and
yeah.
you learn how to talk to people, and I've obviously played like a lot of sports and stuff too, and like you learn how to get along with
There's
people, even if you're slightly awkward.
there's
But I
like
see these
yeah,
clips where people are like smashing controllers and like throwing chairs and shit, and they aren't allowed to be fucked with. But then also, pro players are like calling each other like retarded or whatever, and then they're getting like a five
yeah,
thousand dollar fine, and it's
getting
like
kicked out forever.
you just need to have like a good admin that keeps the fucking vibe healthy
Hmm.
without going to either extreme, I guess.
Right.
And in saying that, I'm not saying that like I'm trying to advocate like centrism or moderation or whatever. I'm just saying that like we obviously have issues with people being like too isolated and spurgy,
Yeah.
and
There's
um
there
and
is
that
a
needs to be addressed while also
by
not
the
stopping
community
people that are
itself though.
competitive from being
The
competitive, right?
community itself need because
Yeah.
like here's how this is how it used to work back in the day, right? You did some shit on land, you got fucking bullied. Like if you were being a little
Yes.
creep,
Yeah.
you're being a little fucking weirdo, like you got bullied, like whether it be verbally or something else like that. The
Yes.
community had a power check in place, and that was normal. Like if you came to the
That's
land,
good.
like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not.
I'm saying we need that
There's
back.
too
Yeah.
many people, like especially like one of the terms that I like to use is they're called fucking cry bullies, right? They come in like they fucking cry their eyes out about everything, and like everything has to be catered to them, and everywhere they go, it's all about. It's like that one. There's always that one fucking guy there that just ruins the whole vibe for everybody. And there's like a few people now because that guy's got friends. Now that he's comfortable in this social situation, he's gonna bring his little friends over, and now you got this whole pocket and these developing pockets in the gaming industry of this fucking just really bad cringy fucking crybully shit. And the problem is these guys, these crybullies, they have a lot of fucking free time is the worst part about it. So they fucking connive and fucking get their way into these power structures because they have all this time to dedicate towards it. Whereas the community, we need to be able to speak up at the point before they get to that point. Like that's the difference I feel like between community involvement now versus then is like we've become too lenient on letting people in these positions get influencer positions. Like there has to be a higher. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but like you got to be fucking good to have an opinion in a fucking gaming community. Like if
Yes.
you're gonna really dictate shit,
Or you have
you can't
to
cry your way to the
like
top.
you have to be good at something and you have to be useful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a really good admin, you
Mm-hmm.
could trust their opinion even if they're not like a pro player,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody who's been like a commentator or something for 15 years, that used to be a player or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's other ways to do it. Or you manage an org, like maybe you're not like a
Well,
pro
they're all
Halo
those are all
player, but
examples of good
yeah,
players though, because
yeah.
like
But these are all people that are good and useful,
mm-hmm.
right? That's how men like evaluate each other's social status, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how useful are
Usefulness,
you,
yeah.
right? And the people that aren't useful, you start putting pressure on them because
Mm-hmm.
you hope that they become useful, and then
Yeah.
they can like rise in the hierarchy,
Mm-hmm.
because they that mobility always exists, and then they can be your equal, and then they can be better than you if they have that capability,
Yeah.
right? But that's not something that we enforce anymore, and fighting games still kind of do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Land scenes in a few places still kind of do,
Mm-hmm.
but like the big
Seeds are the
events,
biggest things in locals. Like, if the
yeah,
seeding is fucked up at a local tourney, I've seen some fucking heads turning for like
yep.
blood. You know, like
Yeah,
it's
they seem to
crazy.
have it right, at least with maybe Smash Bros is kind of just completely off the deep end at this point, like completely infiltrated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Tekken, I think, really has it right. At least the couple tournaments that I've like attended for that.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter, it comes and goes, but I know in a lot of local areas, a lot of like very people who are like competitive and edgy and willing to like say shit and talk shit and stuff too. But like they also have like the respect to not destroy the LAN center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah.
kind of need.
Yeah.
You at least need like the one admin there who's like 40, who's like been around forever, who nobody fucks with to kind of keep the peace. Street Fighter has a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
maybe like Evo or whatever. We can talk about how that's like some kind of like degenerate convention, but like the actual guys playing at the bar or whatever, they seem cool. At least in most places where I've seen guys playing Street Fighter or played Street Fighter myself. So if we could kind of go back to that, that would be good. Actually, it's something that I recently learned is that Tekken, at least for a while, speaking of like points and stuff, had this thing where every like barcade tournament for Tekken could give you like 30 points to the world tour. So that way it would encourage like pro players and stuff to like actually like play their locals and things. So and that's sort of not related, I guess, what we're talking about, but kind of following back on the HCS stuff. Like if you want to bring pro points back and you want to bring like lands and stuff back, like how about we start, adding more stops to the tour? Or like if you play your weeklies every week, you get some token number of like points and you can feel good about that. And it
Mm-hmm.
encourages pro players to actually like, it's not boxing anymore. You can't pick exactly who you're going to be playing. You can't only play the other franchises. You might actually have to go get like spanked by people coming out of nowhere on a LAN, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Fighting through open bracket has always been, I
yeah.
think, like if you like, and I hate to reference it like this, but any kind of tournament arc or anything, whether it be anime or whatever, there's always like a reset variable. And I think this is big that's happening in CDL right now too, is we're gonna have we got Crim 6 just getting released from the New York Subliners, as well as like a bunch of other players that are going on right now. And the reason is because every time that the new Call of Duty game comes out, all of these main big investor guys and stuff know it's better to see who's going to be good at this new game before investing. So you're seeing a lot of like contract releases, non-renewals, free agency deals, limited agency deals. And Crimsix, I think, was actually talking about starting a players union as well, which they tried to do in the past, but could not gain traction according to the research that I did on there due to nobody wanting to put in the
Yeah, I think
time.
we've talked about a
Yeah,
couple different players unions before.
right, right.
They, if they're run by players, they go to shit because a lot of these players aren't mature. And if they're run by, even if it's like a good intention, perfect pick, the
Mm,
players will be like, well, he's not good at COD. He doesn't have the highest rank on COD.
mm,
And then they'll start like, undermining him so
mm.
that way they can gain points or whatever. That's how unions are in general, though. It's like a really good idea, and then you look at the execution, and it's never that good. They should still fight for it, obviously. It's something that's worth doing, but
There needs to be some kind of well, let's can we start the topic of tournaments now?
sure, yeah.
All right, right. So I really want to get into this for the next topic since we're kind of delving into this, but tournaments themselves, whether they be Call of Duty, whether they be Halo, Apex, anything, just the general outlook of online tournaments, money involvement, investment involvement. Um, so I'd like to make one thing clear here. I know this is not CDL doing this, so when I go into this criticism right now, this is not directed towards CDL by any means. But for the World Series of Warzone, like I know if you guys look at my content and stuff, I love Warzone. I love Call of Duty Warzone a lot. And I've always wanted to be good at it, but more recently, I've been wanting to do it competitively like I used to do Halo. So I've been getting into amateur tournaments online through promoted websites, one of them being Z League, another one being sweats.gg, Players Lounge, bunch of different money matches and such. Now, in my experience as a former Game Battles employee, aka an MLG employee, there were standards of conduction back then. Even with shitty contracts, there was still like you had to conduct yourself in a certain way in order to keep your position there. Um, One of them is this idea of fairness being the absolute, um, that's the rule, regardless of who you are. Like you weren't allowed to ref your friends' matches. Like they would check your friends list and shit. Like you couldn't add other refs or play games with other refs from Game Battles or admins. It was a thing. I actually competed against another admin in 2009 Anaheim. Darkstar was his name, or Blackstar, one of the two. But yeah, it was very, very strict in terms of conductivity, and there was integrity in the sport itself that MLG catered to. The biggest thing was if you went in and you reported a score, that score for that day had to be closed by the end of that like total work day period. There could not be any tickets left open. It was a clean desk policy. So whatever's on the desk, like you had an hour after all the brackets were closed and everything as a referee, and then an admin for an extra hour for the admins after that to double check the referee's work. So there was a power structure in place on these online tournaments that weren't even for a lot of fucking money, right? This was like $25 tournaments, $500 prize pool tournaments and such. But even just the online ranking brackets to get qualified for live tournaments, they had a full team doing these regulations. Now, I want to go into the first. I want to warn everybody right now that there are leagues, online gambling sites, things like that, that I want to say are racketeering, like in the minimum way possible. It's either extreme negligence or it's racketeering, and I want to say that it's negligence, but here's why it's not. So we're going to talk about Z League today. Z League is a multi-platform game that is promoted for League of Legends. It's promoted for Halo Infinite, Apex Legends, and Call of Duty Warzone. It does multiple categories, like we were talking about earlier in the podcast, for competition, whether it be free-for-all, duos, trios, quads, whatever. Now, there is a rule set, just like Game Battles had a rule set, just like MLG had rule sets. All of these competitive game types, there are regulations in place for online competition to be as fair as possible, calculated wise. It's the only, and here's the tragedy of this. This is the only website that has a skill-based matchmaking competition configuration. So it takes your KD into account, it takes your wins into account, your matchmaking history, all of these things, and it breaks you up into divisional brackets of 10 players usually. Top 5, like top 3 get their payout back, the top 2 get more than the payout. Very, very standard, very, very well executed interface. However, here's the issue with Z League and what you guys need to look out for when you get into competitive esports online. Now, I had a bracket a few weeks ago that I was in D1. It's top division. It's very high intensity. You get an hour and a half to compete. It takes your total kills and it takes your placement. You get 10 points for winning a game in first place, 9 for second, 8th for third, blah, 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 all the way to 10th. You get 1 point for 10th. But your kills plus that equals your score. It takes your best 2 games in an hour and a half, right? So people are sweating their ass off and you're stacking these points. And me being the stat head that I am very, very obsessed with my stats when it comes to tournament play. It's one of the reasons why I have a rolling 4.5 in tournament bracket right now for KD. And I have a 20% total win ratio on Z League for first place, as well as a 80% top 5 payout placement back, right? Now, I go in and I look at the statistics of the person. I got second place in this tournament, and I go, I've never seen this guy's name before. Let me look into it. I look into his name. All of these things, like they get your matches by having your public data accessible. So everybody that's competing in these, their online profiles are visible, right? So I go into this one guy, and he's got an overall 1.2 KD. So he's above average. The average is 0.8. But a 1.2 KD on average does not get anywhere close to getting like 20 to 30 kills or anything like that. So I noticed all of the games before, this guy had like 6 kills, 3 kills, 4 kills. But then when tournament play came around, miraculously, this guy was always dropping 15, 20, all these kinds of crazy upper double-digit teen kills. But all of his game history of playing with his friends, what are presumably his friends, never drops even double digits. So I do invest. So I send in a ticket. I'm like, hey, this guy's looking a little suspicious on his stats. Maybe you could look into it. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll look into it. And they came back with me with an email, and they're like, hey, thank you for your dedicated attention to fairness and fair play. We at Z League would like to let you know we've investigated this player. Thank you for your cooperation. And I go, oh, fuck. Well, cool. They actually got back to me with an email and like talked about this guy. Great. Everything was going great for about 2 weeks. Now, here's the problem. Last week, I went into a $1,000 tournament for the free-for-all Resurgence Solos event. It was 10 brackets. Each payout had like a 75 for first, 50 for second, and then get your payout back. It was like 50 people per division, though. Huge tournament. I get 5 games in, and I start looking at first and second place. And I start scrolling down. I get down to the bottom of the brackets, and you can show people that haven't started playing yet because it was a 24-hour total to get your games in. And lo and behold, there was the guy from the earlier bracket that I had reported and investigated under. So I go, that's weird. Maybe they investigated and they didn't have enough evidence to convict. Something weird, some regulation thing, I don't know. But from everything in the rule bracket, the guy was, I guess, clean, right? Now, here's the kicker. I look at the people that are in first place. They've been competing for 3 weeks, 3 total weeks. They have as many tournaments played, if not more, depending on the account, than me in 3 months, right? So these guys are grinding this shit the last 3 weeks. And I go to their stats, and I find out through their game history that they're doing this thing called reverse boosting. Now, this is a big problem in the World Series of Warzone. It's a big problem in fucking Battle Royale competitive games, whatever they are. It's this abuse of the skill-based matchmaking system in the following ways. You intentionally drop in, you don't get any kills, you aim like shit, you move like shit. The game takes all of these things into account. And it's explicitly stated in the rulebook that you're not allowed to do this. It's stipulated in the rules, right? So these guys got like 7-8 games straight, 0 kills, like 100 damage. Then out of fucking nowhere, after grinding like 15, 20 minutes for each of these zeros, they drop a fucking 40 to 50 bomb, like a few kills away from the world fucking record, mind you, right? Like out of nowhere, right? And I'm just like, oh, fuck, right? Like, and like I start scrolling through more names. Like half of the fucking people qualifying. Half of the people fucking qualifying were doing this shit. Now, the safeguard for these tournaments is usually when you have an hour and a half to compete, you don't have time to stack those zeros. The only time you would have is like before the tournament starts. And like, you can see that on people's stats record and that can be retroactively done. But this was for a fucking $1,000, right? The World Series of Warzone is for over $300,000, and all of the top teams are doing this reverse boosting, which is explicitly noted in the rules, but there's no enforcement of it. So one, I was a little skeptical when I saw the guy that I had found with the weird kill records earlier, probably toggling hacks or something during tournament time for money, and then I see all these other guys reverse boosting. So 3 hours before the tournament ends, I reach out to customer support. I'm like, hey, here's screen caps. These guys are fucking cheating in bracket right now. Like, they've been doing it for 3 weeks. Like, it's either A, like I get it. Like, I just don't want this fucking thing on my record and I just want a refund. Like, there's no statistical way that I can get payout or my money back because of the amount of cheating that's going on actively in this bracket. So I'd like my $10 back. It's now been about 5 days with no response. But on the second day, I went into the Discord for Z League. And I posted the screenshots. And I reached out to the admins. No response all day. So later in the day, I go in and somebody's asking for support and they're like, hey, are there any admins on? And I go, I'm being snarky and I'm thinking, hey, maybe this will get their fucking attention. So I tag and I go, nah, this, they don't actually actively respond to any money inquiries. And I'm kicked out of the server. So when you're looking, like, this is why it's important when you do online competition and tournaments to really dig into who's winning these tournaments, what their statistical placements are, how they're winning games. All of these things are like publicly accessible, right? So if you're going to put money on the line, and like this is for all the Zodiac members too, if you guys are going to compete, just please take my advice as a former like GB, like, you know, stat head. Look into who you're competing against and what that org is actively doing to retroactively fit things. Because as of right now, they don't have a clear desk policy by any means. It's been 5 days. And now I don't need $10. All right, this isn't about, oh fuck, I need my $10. No, this is about the merit of what fucking the standards were 15 years ago versus what the average gamer. Like, I'm not even a fucking hardcore pro at this stuff. You know what I mean? Imagine what somebody that does this 8 days of fucking, like 8 hours a day has to deal with. So if there's anything from players unions, I think there needs to be like some kind of players union specifically approved third party checking agency. Like, there has to be multiple like auditing agencies, whether they be government regulations or some kind of former, you know, reputable, you know, tournament organizers or something to come in and do a little sniff work on these orgs. Because if this really, like, there's a lot of fucking money in esports. Like, the last thing we want is for this fucking place and this like community to become like what boxing became. You know, and that's a real fucking threat. Like, and with the money that's getting involved, like that shit just doesn't go away. Like, especially when there's no regulations or fact checking or anything going on. Like, the government is so involved in sports now. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, just to get a fair fucking game on the TV. But that's my rant. Use sweats.gg. They're legit. Everybody's live streaming. So you can like literally see people like as they're fucking playing. The admins are always there, 24/7 support. It's way better. You can like you don't even have to compete. They have you as a rank on there based off your KD, win rate, all that stuff. It'll take your session. You can like do overlays on Twitch for free. Sweats.gg is great. And then of course I just found this out. Game Battles. MLG Game Battles actually has fucking Warzone. So I might be going onto that platform with that '07 join date account.
They should be actually owned by Microsoft again now.
Oh, no shit?
Because because they were owned by Blizzard.
Oh.
Like that's who purchased them. When MLG kind of disappeared, rebranded, did those CS against, disappeared again. MLG and Game Battles, I think, would be part of the Blizzard block, so they're part of Microsoft again.
Yeah.
If that makes any difference, I don't know, because it seems like HCS and CDL are run by completely different people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So maybe there's good elements and bad elements when you have a company that big, when you have so many assets.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that you make a really good point. There are a couple organizations like ESEC for like the PC kind of esports. It's like Esports Integrity Coalition or something like that. They're an independent auditing organization.
No shit.
That's in charge of doing a lot of match fixing investigations
Wow.
in Western esports.
Awesome. I didn't even know that existed.
They do a pretty good job. A lot of their guys are like longtime admins or software engineers. They can create tools that go through different demos and automate some of their workflow. And this is, just keep in mind what I'm saying. This is all cheat mitigation.
Yeah.
You're never going to get rid of cheating.
Yeah.
But you need to be taking active measures to catch people cheating.
Right.
Right. And you have to be really trying. And you have to have people that are professional and good at it. Right.
Dude, there's money involved. There's like no ethics laws involved right now, which is a big fucking problem.
You need to make a more than reasonable attempt to catch people who are cheating. So for Counter-Strike and Dota 2 and stuff, they have ESEC. In some games that have like leaderboards or world record times or whatever, like I know in Trackmania, they have a lot of people that are essentially like their network admins that run their fan sites. And a lot of them will create like replay checking softwares that will, because the game is what was called purely deterministic physics. So all the physics in the game will play out exactly the same way if you have the same inputs happen again.
Wow.
Yeah, for the Trackmania games. So there ended up being some softwares that would like scan the player inputs and check for spikes to see if people were using like task software or any other kind of cheats and stuff, and then they would get their runs delisted.
Hell yeah.
For games that don't have that, you'll often have these like.
That's what COD needs for this fucking recoil control, man.
Yeah, you'll have like groups of players that are super experienced that aren't actively competing on the leaderboards anymore. For like GoldenEye or whatever, that'll be looking at runs and being like, this has to be spliced, like this isn't possible. That are like technically minded kind of people that also don't have like a vested interest in like knocking out people below them on the leaderboard. Like former players or whatever will sometimes take that kind of a guardian role. These online tournaments need people like that. Like they need like the 40-year-old admin who's been around who nobody fucks with. Like they need that too, badly.
Right.
From what I've seen with Call of Duty. Especially if we're not going to do any in-person events. Like how would you get 120 people to an in-person event anyway for Warzone? Like how would that work?
Well, they would do it at PAX or something like Fortnite did.
Yeah,
like that they actually do that. Like it's just COVID's been a big fucking problem. But the cool thing about COD is that they don't give as much of a fuck as every other esport. Right. Like no one's wearing masks on stage. They're fucking spitting at each other. It's fucking
but like you can't have everybody fucking, I don't know, make some kind of like a LAN mode where you have like 40 people and it's only on one section of the map.
No,
like
they have
thing?
No, they have a Caldera Customs. You can do it. Yeah, you can do Caldera Customs, you can do Rebirth Customs, all that stuff. And it's like full lobby size.
Right. Yeah, cuz I've seen it for PUBG tournaments in Asia.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, those are fun to watch too. Like the commentary on that shit, the Korean commentary always gets me.
Yeah,
They're
there's a
so
huge
fucking hype.
thunderstorm starting outside, so if my
Oh,
internet cuts it or something, that's why.
lucky
Just saying you
you.
know.
My state's on
Yeah.
fire right now. I got a fire warning.
Okay, well, it's California, so deserved.
Rain and thunderstorms expected in Northern California too tonight. Let's go.
But yeah, no, Call of Duty needs like some sort of a system that like moderates how much online competition's going on
Mm,
there.
yeah.
Because this is so much more fixable if you're just in the room the same as people. Like I've
Yeah.
done admin work for LANs and stuff before. It's very easy to at least assure, within a reasonable doubt that people are not cheating
Yeah.
when you're in a LAN environment.
You just put on
It
some
is
shell
so,
software and disable the drive
yeah,
access. Like,
it's so fucking hard to do that online. I mean, I know that what you're talking about with Z League is just so negligent that they should do a better job. But
I
like,
think it might be fucking I think they might be paying like these guys that started this Z League thing might be these guys doing this reverse boosting thing to prevent payout.
sure.
Like there could be that kind of fucking shit going
Yeah, like
on.
the
That's my
casino,
point.
like actual
Yes.
players. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's what I think is actually going on because if these guys like even after I give a report and they're still fucking competing and these guys have been doing it for 3 weeks, nah, bro. Like that's like
yeah.
they work for the fucking guys, bro. Like 100p. Like 100 fucking
Yeah,
p.
look, I can only ascribe to that negligence until I have some
I
sort of like
yeah.
other. But
I'm
it's like
vindictive. I'm going to call it.
yeah, it's like criminal gross negligence
Yeah.
though. At that point,
Yeah.
like it's you're fucking up to the point where you're actually causing damages. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even if it's not, if
Monetary
we're not going to court over
time. My
this,
fucking
like
time.
yeah, yeah,
Mr. What's his name? Harold Bernstein or whoever the fuck owns that building that Z
right,
League's registers
yeah,
at.
yeah. Harold Blackrock.
Hold on, what the fuck was his name? Let me see here. What's the
No,
address? The name and address of these people have names and addresses.
right. The regardless though, these
Ken Lewis. No, I'm kidding.
isn't he Bank of America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't stab him with a knife.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
do it.
yeah, that's sketch.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't do it.
You'll see me near my home in Boston.
You can be walking around. Don't stab me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, those online tournaments stuff need more moderation. I tried to do some stuff, some production work, admin work, and stuff for this Smash Bros. Online tournament a long time ago. Before I have a lot of ethical issues with Smash Bros. As you can imagine, in the last 2 years.
Oh well, because of the
So I'm
whole,
not involved anymore.
you talk about
Yeah,
the whole thing, the whole
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that thing, yeah.
yeah.
Well, from my
So
understanding, like I work with this cool guy named Alma.
Yeah.
He's told me that they fucking like blacklisted the fuck out of those guys and are like, I don't know, like every time they come
was
through, there seems to be like a general hate
yeah.
consensus for those
What
people.
really fucked me up, and I'm not gonna name names, and I'm not gonna start Fed posting or whatever when we're on
Yeah,
Twitch.
right,
But
right.
this there was one player I believe was like 25.
Hmm.
His boyfriend was 16, so it was technically legal in Ontario and in Louisiana, or like the two places that the people are from. It's technically legal, but like you're in your like I'm 25, right? If I was fooling around, well, I wouldn't be fooling around with boys, but like a 16-year-old girl, I'd expect you to like be calling the cops on me, even though it's technically legal
Yeah,
in my country,
that's
right?
just fucking.
You shouldn't
It's
be doing
just,
it.
it's
The
disgusting.
reason why that number is relatively low in Canada is so that way an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old don't get sent to jail for having sex or whatever, right? It's not to defend people that are like getting close to 30 doing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
And then when I posted something on Reddit or some other forum, I can't remember, around the time where that came out, and I was like, this isn't okay. I don't care if it's legal. He should have everything revoked. Like he should, I'm not saying people should like beat him up or whatever, but like you shouldn't be welcome
No,
because it's technically illegal.
I
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And people were like, well, it doesn't say anything. It's the laws on the books, whatever. And I was like, dude, I'm so fucking done. I'm so fucking done.
By the way,
This is
I see you in chat
disgusting.
there, Andy. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah.
And yes, this hat is available on my merch store. Goatman is actually actively going to be creating some very high end merch. He is taking over that part of Cult Zodiac. He's going to be a lot of the merchandising and marketing kind of side of things pretty soon. I'm just going to be doing management of the media with people from the Discord. By the way, guys, be sure to get your mains submitted into the Maintage channel. Just a reminder, this it's a tryout channel. You are not guaranteed to be in this video. This is the best of the best mains. I'm going to be putting $100 into marketing this thing for everybody.
I'll match you for that.
So $200 in marketing is going to go into this video in order to promote us. So we need the best. I'm talking hardcore fucking Zetruchio, Office Hyena fucking level shit here, guys. Like, you get what I'm saying. But if you want some early access first print Zodiac merch, it'll be shortly available until Goat has active merch through his part of the store. So if you want to get these are on the Blake the Strafe Streamlabs store. I got them underneath there. There's notepads. There's a backpack, t-shirt, hat. There's a few cool things. I think it's a mug too. If you guys want to go on there, just go right to the merch store. But the best way is to communicate with Goatman through the Discord. Just tag him or just send him a message directly. That's why I really...
He actually is always watching that shit. It's really weird. Like, I've talked to him a couple times, like off stream, whatever.
Yeah.
He like reads everything in there.
Yeah, he's active.
It's just that
he's
a lot of the time he just doesn't have a reason to respond.
Right.
Because if it's just somebody being like, hey, look, I got this clip or whatever, he might say nice, he might not. It doesn't really matter. If somebody asks him like...
He'll watch it though.
Yeah, if somebody asks him like, "Hey, Goatman, like, what do you think about this?" In like 2 days, he'll get a response.
Right.
Like,
I was just talking to him actually.
Not to say bother him all the time, but
yeah, I called him when I was like on the way back home once. Yeah, he's calling from the prison phone. No, dude, he's out now. Remember, he's not in jail anymore.
Yeah, we got him on
We
video.
free Goatman. Hashtag free Goatman. It worked. It worked out. We trended. We got some celebrity influencers to make bail. It's pretty cool. But what was I saying? Yeah, I've boosted the server. We can now do up to 50 megabytes per clip. Guys, don't make it. Get the fuck trim the. Please pre-trim the clip. Just pre-trim the clip. It'll save us so much time.
Also,
save us data.
If you have a game that has demo files, so like Halo has like theater function, right, where you can like watch back your clip, or if you have like Quake or Counter-Strike or whatever, like yeah, sometimes you need like the live reaction, so you're just gonna have to do direct capture. I understand that because that's like part of the clip. So yeah, if you play, black bars but like the reaction's crazy, you need that audio. You might have to just go with that. However, if you have a game that has like a good demo system, either have the ability to send the editor a demo or record from a couple different angles and different speeds when you get a clip at like some kind of plausible, good-looking resolution or whatever. It makes everything so much easier if you're editing a montage.
Yeah. But anyway, Go was talking to me at work, and he's actually the next few days going out to work at these concerts and sell alcohol and party at these raves. So he is leaving to go work and party for a few days. Goatman, yes, Goatman is working. The crypto lord is working. He's getting out and about, making some extra Skrillas.
Crypto went down, right? BlackRock and Vanguard were like, hey, Goatman's enjoying his life too much.
Oh,
get rid of
yeah.
half of his income.
Gotta get rid of it right now.
Yeah, they just ran the op on what was it? Which one was it? One of the stable coins.
Yeah, but anyway, he's doing that. He's going to be doing some fun things, but he is definitely getting involved with the merchandise for sure. Let's see here. What were we talking about? It was, we had something else on this topic list. Is there anything off the top of your head?
I'll finish my thought.
Yeah,
what I was talking about with the Smash Bros stuff, I've tried to do some admin stuff for them. It's just a fucking disaster online. Reason being, these people are fucking weird. They don't respond to you when you send them messages sometimes. Like, you ask somebody like, I haven't seen you play before, are you good? Like, who have you beaten before? They can't tell you. People are changing their names all the time. People are getting angry that seeding is wrong on your first online tournament. They're like, this guy was too good to be this seed or whatever. It's like, it's the first time that we're seeing anyone with this tag playing online right after the rollback gets put out in the game. Like, I'm sorry.
There's no way to monitor this. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'll be better next week.
Right.
We'll fix this. Then there's people that are like complaining that everyone's cheating, which they're not. And there's people who are actually cheating, which they are, and they get caught, but people are still like super angry. It's just, and there's people that are running the shit that don't know how to do anything, and so it went from like I was just running their production to like now I'm adminning the tournament. I'm arguing with players about things. I'm finding out who's cheating. I'm finding like trying to help people get like good routing for better ping. Trying to, I'm drawing stuff. I'm making all these graphics and things, and like it was just shit for nothing, right?
God damn.
But if you're doing that in person, it's actually fun because it's like a social experience or whatever. So the admin actually has something in it. Um, yeah, having stuff at LAN is so much easier when you just walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, are you good? Like, how long have you been playing before?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay." And it's like, "Oh, I'll put you somewhere in the middle," and then the problem's solved. When you talk to like
It's online. There's people
severely
fucking.
internet people, it
Yeah.
just becomes a shit show. Not to shit on you or saying that you're doing any of this shit to do with like the admins of the Z League tournament. I'm sure you understand, but like it's like the communication is just fucked. It makes everyone look like the biggest retard the way that it works out. So
Yeah.
and yeah, so I'm glad that I had an excuse to leave uh a little bit later, or else I'd have a lot of gray hair.
Yeah. End up looking like me. No.
Well, I
Oh
need to
man.
be like 20 pounds more muscle at least.
Maybe the legs though, man. I mean, do I bust out the calf stream? Do we do the calf stream again? Jesus Christ! I remember I got rated by Jerv, and everyone was like, "Show calves," and I did. They got a taste of the glory of the 820-pound calf raisers on the machine, of course. Hey, hey, Strafe School will help you gain 20 pounds. We hit those. That's right. That's automated Nightbot. My favorite thing about being natty is gaining 7 pounds.
There was this guy at work. We didn't show up for a little bit, and in like I don't know a month or a couple weeks, whatever, he like lost a shitload of fat, and his entire body was just completely
He's just
recomposited,
getting cut,
and yeah,
getting
and he was
tight,
like
right around the
25
waistline.
pounds more muscle,
All
and
the
it's like
waistline's gone out of nowhere.
yeah, and it's like, and people are like, "Oh, you look really good. Were you working out?" And it's like, "Yeah, you
Yeah.
just like he was working out. I'll tell you that." But
You have to do it. You can't just. It's not like Trend where you just get
oh,
big. You just take it. Just get
um,
fucking big.
what is it? Isn't it like if you take a certain amount of fucking testy or something, and you just sit around, as long as you don't fuck up your diet, you'll actually just gain like 2 pounds of muscle a month up to a certain point.
Uh, it's water weight in the muscle, which is retain.
Right.
You
Yeah.
hold it in there, and you can like get a little
Yep.
bit more stretch out of it per working out. But no, like there's still atrophy. Like that's still the laws of physics. Like blood flow is and the
Yeah. Yeah.
stretching is essential for growth. Unless you have some kind of compounding hormone that just freak beasts you out, like trenbolone does. Like, but that's for like cattle and fucking. That's a whole different story. But um,
It seems like a really good like party drug. I feel like if I took a bunch of Tren and showed up to like an HCS event, it would fucking
You
go
just,
really
dude,
well.
you just be covered in acne and
Yeah.
sweating everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it looked like everyone else. I'd be like simultaneously fucking invincible and yet super, super, super self-conscious, just like freaking out in the corner.
Just having
Like
like
really, really,
you're getting like the
really
side
good
effects of like
reaction time.
rumination whispers and like
Yeah.
like your brain is like causing psychological hallucinations of
Yeah.
thoughts that are not yours, and you're just like, who
Yeah.
said that? Like, and everyone's like, what? Like, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Nah, man,
The
it's funny. I've just my buddy National in here. We just hit fucking shoulders and tries last night. Did a little back and buys before that. A little chest day before that. Got to hit legs in a day or two. But shit, what
nice, nice.
you've been eating good? What you been eating?
Yeah, I pretty much eat a couple different meals. Most often, I just eat like some sort of rice,
Hmm.
some sort of frozen vegetable, often just like peas and stuff, sometimes like spinach and shit, and then free range eggs, a little bit of
Ooh,
chicken
yes.
occasionally.
Do you get the?
And everything though, I cook with butter.
Of
That's
course.
like my big
Yes.
thing.
Of
And
course.
if I feel really crazy, I might use a little bit of like the strongest possible tasting olive oil, and that's it. I never use fucking any PUFAs. This is a no PUFA zone as much as possible. I guess olive oil is like what, like 6% or something.
Well,
But
the olive oil you just got to be
butter's like
careful
2.
with. Is it cold press or is it do you know how it's
Yes, I
extracted? It's
do.
cold
Yeah,
press.
yeah,
Because
yeah. My
if you top it on something, cook it with butter and then top it, that's good. But if you cook it, it
yeah, yeah.
actually becomes carcinogenic.
Yeah, I'm talking for like fucking salad dressings or
Yes,
whatever, or something
yeah.
that I'm cooking
Oh
on
yeah.
low heat.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
I'll
simmer.
use a little bit of olive oil.
We'll
But yeah,
simmer.
most of the time it's fucking butter. I'm glad that you're fucking red pilled about fucking butter though.
Dude,
I'm
butter
trying to tell people that
is like
there's
animal
this
fats are so fucking
yeah
good for you. It's
yeah
ridiculous.
there's this product in Canada that is called Basel. It is like a kind of margarine that is like ubiquitous to this country
Mhm.
that people started eating because they thought that it was healthier for their heart, right? Like they didn't
Right.
want to eat it because they like the taste. Everyone likes the taste of butter more. It's just way better. It's like
Yeah.
10 times more delicious than anything else. And at least for fats and stuff, there's other foods that taste better, but butter's like the best kind of fat.
Hmm.
And actually, lard's
That and
pretty good too.
red meat fat. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say
yeah,
pig
beef
and
tallow.
pig and
Yeah, yeah.
pig. Yeah.
Fucking people stopped eating that shit though because they thought that it was bad for them, so they started eating the Basel. And then when you tell them that, it's like, no, 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 actually, you were just eating too much butter.
Mm.
Just go back to eating, or you were just lied to, one of the two. Just go back to eating butter. It's super good. Like you'll tell who's really your friend by who's eating butter the next day and who's still got the fucking Basel in the
Oh
fridge.
my god,
Yeah,
that's rough.
yeah.
But
But no,
yeah,
I've been eating that shit. I had to stop working out for a couple days, but as of today, actually, I got some good news that I'm good to start again,
good.
just because of some like medical shit that was going on. So there's something that I was worried about. Um, it was good to go have a follow up about it, but it's actually not bad. So that means that I'm back to it. I actually just got in like 400 pounds of plates, and I got like a bench and some bars and stuff
Hmm.
a while ago.
What
So yeah, the home gym's been improving.
what brand you get?
I'll tell you. Let me look at the fucking order. It
I
wasn't
used to
like a
build
Rogue or
Hoist.
any kind of name brand. Sorry?
I used to build Hoist. So if you ever see those, I did the rocket equipment. They're all like everything, like all the shit that they had,
Oh, okay.
their whole lineup.
Yeah, yeah. The I got the stuff from Hajex
Nice.
and a couple other pieces from like Synergy.
Mhm.
Synergy is actually like a known
Right,
brand.
right.
Hajex I'd never heard of, but they
They're
seem to get the stuff to me on time. They got me a pallet and stuff to
yeah,
get it in my house.
very nice. I'm trying to get a squat rack right now, and I'm thinking there's a few things I can do. One, I could put it on like the back. I have plenty of space in the backyard and stuff. I could do like sun lifting like they did in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be really good too. But I mean, I have this leather couch that I don't really need, and I can just sell it and then just put the squat rack right here and just like,
That'd be decent.
Sigma male lifestyle, like wake up, squat rack, then shower,
Yeah. I'm in this weird spot where like I can't really do a lot of lower body.
Hmm.
I would look a lot more like I used to look visibly fitter because squats just even out your whole body and make
Yeah,
you pretty
more
much jacked
square.
everywhere,
Yeah.
right? So when I used to do a lot of squats, I was more like that. Now it's like kind of sort of just limited to upper body. Probably like within 3 months I can do squats again.
What's
So that's I'm looking forward to.
what's your
But a lot of
what's your limiting factor right now for lower body? Is it like surgery or
so I
something?
have I think I've talked about this before, maybe not in like a lot of detail, but I had this repeated pilonidal cyst condition,
Mm.
basically at the base of my spine slash tailbone, so like right at like top of my ass, essentially.
Hmm.
And if I do any kind of like lifting or twisting motions or whatever after having operations on it, it just reopens.
Mm. Right. So
It's
you
not
have
like
to wait.
extremely, yeah. The issue is that it's not painful. Like I could go run like a mutter contest tomorrow if I wanted to. It's just that it will start bleeding and there's risk of infection, and then it's in
Sepsis.
an area that it could fuck the rest of my life
The
up.
spine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Have
So
you tried doing seated leg press because it doesn't have a any spinal pressure involvement on the seat when you're there?
sitting is weird. Obviously, I'm sitting right now, but I have this ergonomic chair and shit.
Yeah.
It's just a weird feeling. And especially like stuff with like free weight.
No, I meant
Where you're doing like
because you're on your
squats and
like
things.
well not
Yeah.
you're not standing, you're on your back and you're like your legs are you're like this and your legs are going
Yeah,
up.
actually, you know what? I might actually give that a try
Though
because I haven't been doing it because I was like, look, I'm not gonna risk it. I'll try that.
see it with no weight just to
Yeah.
see if you got ROM and then like that could
Yeah,
be
yeah,
a
yeah.
really great alternative to that actuation Or
Should've,
bicycling is
yeah.
also great too. But I don't
If
know.
I'm leaning forward, yeah, I
Yeah,
could
yeah.
probably manage that.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but it's stuff like running and squatting and like that sort of motion where it like moves the skin a lot.
Hmm.
And then, with other exercises, it's like I really wasn't doing anything for a while because you kind of like clench like your butt and like you clench your core,
Yeah.
right? When you're really doing anything.
Right.
So yeah, it was an issue for a bit, but no, I've been back to, I can do like plenty of like curls or pull downs or fucking, I've been doing bench press more as it's become like less painful
Hmm.
just for something to do. I've heard
Right.
bench isn't like a very functional movement, but trying to get back up, over 200. And
Well,
so,
here's a really good one for mass building. I found on the on the chest in general is for your first like exercise. What I usually go for is like a set. Maybe start off if you're getting back into it, like if you're not used to moving weight regularly, start with 20, start with 22.5, 25, and get that and do a set of 15. Do 4 sets of 15 with a minute rest between each set, 1 minute with a timer. You'd be surprised how hardcore of an activation you would get from 15 rep sets with that lower weight. Me personally, I fluctuate between 30 to 40 pounds, depending on if I'm doing that at the beginning of my workout or near the end. But
right.
that right there, and then here's kind of like a secret about like obviously there's that fly machine, right, for chest,
Yep.
but that those machines and stuff don't really get the inner
Yeah,
fibers and
I
the
use almost
building.
only free weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like the free weight, here's a little secret too. Like there's usually the fly where people come in and they go out like this, right? And then they bring it in like such. Now, check this out. Instead of doing that, when you get to your apex point of your press when it comes down, watch my my hand motion here. It goes straight out like do this. Bring it out and let the weight go out like that when you're on your back. It just fucking shreds all the way to the connective fibers in the center, and you get like a full on. It's the best way to do a fly for the ultimate. Like once you get that first little hypertrophy going, that isolation is just absolutely nuts.
Yeah. No, I love doing like shoulders and chest.
Yeah.
That's always what I was doing a shitload of. So I've still been doing that to a degree. Well, I had to take like, I don't know, a couple months off, but that's always been good. I just like suck at arms and stuff,
do
so
you
it's just been fun.
do you do
Yeah.
Arnold's?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Very very good.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
always liked doing shoulders and chest and stuff. I used to do a lot of like hiking and stuff too, though. So
Mm.
like that part of my body is not horribly developed, but I just am not. I've never been like motivated to be like, yeah, I want to get really good at like bench or I want to get really good at curls or something like that. So I've had an excuse to do that. So I actually, it's been fun.
Nice. Hell yeah, man.
It's just been like 5 days where I had to stop doing it, but I've been like 5 days a week, hour and a half per day minimum,
Oh wow. Fucking
eating, yeah,
hour
eating
and a
well.
half.
Like
You're going hard.
it just for something to do. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not, you're probably like an hour and a half in the basement with the weights with music on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
not an hour and a half straight of fucking
Yeah.
lifting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not a fucking machine. I'm not on fucking steroids or anything. But
Yet.
yeah,
Yet.
yeah, yeah.
Get the strafe stack. No, I'm kidding. Available on Naps gear. No.
No,
Use
that's
code
just super interesting
strafe.
to me. With my condition or whatever, I probably shouldn't do that.
No,
'Cause
no,
it
no,
causes,
no,
it
no. I'm
causes
fucking.
growth.
Yeah, yeah.
Everywhere.
Don't. No, I'm fucking
But
around.
one of my friends is actually an endocrinologist.
Mm.
So he deals with that kind of shit. Super interesting. At times I wish that we had access to all those like Russian studies and stuff that they have, because we could all be taking steroids and having almost no side effects if we had access to their fucking labs and their research and stuff that they use for their athletes. Like
HCG
they're
and well, I mean,
yeah,
what is Arimidex and what is Nolvadex? What is that?
yeah,
What is that?
yeah, bro. Just go on bodybuilding.com.
Who
It'll be
did
fine. Let's sort you right out.
more Blakes, more strafes.com. You can find all of your equipment there for your from your kettlebells to your Swift Energy lifestyle. Fucking I gotta do it, dude. I've got so many fucking sponsors I need to do videos for. I'm so behind. Tonight I'm gonna go on my fucking video production. We're gonna do Warzone tip videos and sponsor videos. I trust.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I've got a new
Ah,
video
shit.
card coming in
Oh,
finally.
oh, what you getting?
So it's the 6700 XT.
Okay, okay.
The reason being, it has 12 gigs of VRAM.
Mm-hmm.
So for Sony Vegas and stuff, that
Yeah,
is a huge benefit.
yeah. Editing.
The current NVIDIA cards, they're faster in terms of like clock speeds and able to like crunch numbers, but they're very limited in terms of VRAM. They have
Yes.
only like 10 gigs, 10 gigs the high end, 8 gigs for a lot of the normal cards. I've got a 1070 right now, so it already has 8 gigabytes. It wouldn't be that much of an upgrade, but the 6700 XT is like 50% faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's about as fast as a 3070, but a 3070 just chokes on games like Doom, like the new one. And if you're running it like 4K with all the textures and stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
the textures have nowhere to go. They don't have
They
like
don't
a
get cached. Yeah.
4 gigs of extra, space to fit into. And they also choke on video editing if you're
Yeah.
using the Vegas and things.
Especially
If
if
you're
you're gonna be
using,
doing After Effects
if
and
yeah,
4K and shit like that.
yeah. If you're using, just Premiere or whatever, it makes no difference what card you have. You can use ancient like 560 Ti and be fine. But if you're using, Vegas or you're using Premiere or something like, or not Premiere, After Effects, yeah,
Mhm.
you need so much overhead.
Yeah.
So that should be really good. That's coming in on Monday. I've been thinking about, trying to get like a LAN event going,
Hell yeah.
somewhere. So I'll obviously update, but I want to, I've got like all these manufacturing things upstairs, like 3D printers, and I'm good at like casting and things. Like by which I mean like resin casting, not
No, I
casting
know what
in.
you meant.
Yeah. And so I want to make like, some metals, and I want to, do an event. I'll buy some fucking computers with like handles on them. I'll show up in a suit, like I'll make like a Zodiac stencil on
Yeah.
my fucking dress shirt, and
Jesus.
I'll
Savage.
yeah, something cool, right?
Have a
I've been thinking about
cigar with
doing
a
that.
fucking like a zodiac emblem on it.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I
found.
was thinking
Oh,
about,
I got our.
having like a cool event, like call it like a Zodiac all points bulletin or like Zodiac killing spree 1 or something.
I finally have our gang signs, guys.
Yeah.
Zodiac Z. See, they got Phase Clan and shit, which was like I think like that. Yeah, we got
But
that.
yeah, I think it would be cool if I could get something rolling like Halo or Quake or Counter Strike or something in either in this province that I live in or in Ontario, because they have a really healthy land scene in Ontario. See if
Hell
I can get
yeah.
like 10 people for like a 1v1 kind of duel tournament for some kind of game that people are here are interested in, and have some prizes, give somebody $100 to win, give people some little medals or trophies or something. I think it would be really cool if somebody got like if it was like Halo or something, they get like that like Halo logo, but it's like standing up, made out of plastic, or painted gold or whatever, or like you get like the Quake logo, like the quad damage,
Yeah.
if you win like a duel tournament maybe. So I've been thinking about that. I've been shopping that around. I'll need like a LAN center and a bunch of shit,
Yeah.
but I think that should be fun.
For sure. All right, man. Well, I unfortunately have to get to my other job now, but I think we had a really good podcast today. I think we went over a lot of fun, good stuff. Had a lot of people in the chat today too. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I'm gonna start uploading these episodes to Spotify too. Somehow, I'm gonna have to just rip the audio from the VOD. But yeah, we'll get on that. Everybody, we're gonna go raid Jervalen. You already know
It's a
what
good
it
choice.
is. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty deep. He's on regret right now for Goliath, which is no shot, lasso, deathless. Harder than Moist Critical's challenge in my opinion. But let's get it on. There we go. Hit the raid.